This is Program 3 of the exploration of the ConTelNet, a CCSA network for a private company that no longer exists. These telephone recordings are from July 1980 and March 1981. Looks like most of the narration here will be from 2015, though there is some narration recorded at the time. What immediately follows was recorded during daytime hours, trying various in-company codes to see what they did. The exchange code 444 was a bit puzzling. Now, the access number I was using only allowed in-company numbers to be called, but the 444 code appeared to provide access to more than just in-company numbers, as you'll hear. Here's 444 plus a random last four digits.
Hello?
Hello, what city did I just reach?
Magnolia?
What area code and exchange is this?
501.
And it's Magnolia, Arkansas?
Uh-huh.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
For this to go to a residence, there are only two possibilities. The first is that Continental used to have an office in Magnolia, Arkansas. That office closed, the number got reassigned to this home. And if that's the case, any 444 number dialed on ConTelNet will go to this household. The other possibility is that Continental still has more than one number in Magnolia. They probably set it up so that 444 plus any four digits converts to whatever the exchange code is in Magnolia. That would let you dial whatever Continental number in Magnolia by dialing 444 plus the last four digits, and as a side effect, you could also call other numbers that happen to be in that same exchange code. This time the access number didn't hang up, so we're kind of sitting in limbo. So all I can do is hang up. The Outwatts line, of course, puts the call through the Bell system, which is making a sound that I am not familiar with. This goes from an Atlanta ESS office to the Atlanta 4E to a number 1 ESS tandem in Little Rock, which then goes directly to the Crossbar 5 in Magnolia. The way I would expect that to sound is this. The way it actually sounds is this. That is a tick that the network of the 1970s didn't make. But in the 1980s, the Bell system had a special way of using number 1 ESS offices to make a 4-wire tandem through something called a high-low arrangement, H-I-L-O. It was just a way of getting a 2-wire network to act like a 4-wire network. And a friend of mine who was listening very closely to the network of the 1980s is telling me that yes, that extra tick has to do with the high-low tandems. In any case, the sounds we hear calling this 444 code do represent the number 1 ESS high-low tandem making its unique set of sounds, and none of my 1970s tapes featured that sound. Now I'm going to try dialing 444 4444. Looks like we've gotten a busy test. Now this would convert to 501-234 plus whatever last four digits I dial. So it looks like 234-4444 is a telephone company permanent busy number. That's a good place to put it. The important thing is we didn't get that same residence. So it should matter what last four digits I dial. I stopped the tape and tried a number of different numbers, and it did seem that I was getting a different person at every number. But I couldn't find a non-working number, so I tried 444-2000, thinking it might be a business number.
Well, that didn't tell me anything. I'm trying to dial a number that would probably be a business.
All right, that definitely was not a business answer. Let's try 444-6000.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, hello, man.
Southern Arkansas University, can I help you?
I'm sorry, what did I just reach?
Southern Arkansas University.
Southern what university?
Arkansas.
And the tape ran out right around there. Boy, what a mess. I knew at the outset that it was possible that all 444 numbers went to that family due to an old number being reassigned to them. But the other possibility, that 444 plus the last 4 digits was a way to reach several Continental offices in Magnolia, just made more sense and seemed more likely. So based on that second possibility, I was trying all sorts of different 444 numbers, and it seemed like I was getting a different result every time, and when I got around to trying 444-4444, I got a busy signal. So I thought I'd hit a busy test. But it turns out that was a coincidence, as was the fact that when I was looking for a business answer, dialing 444-6000, I got one after a distracting interruption from Clay.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, hello, man.
Southern Arkansas University, can I help you?
And then the tape runs out. The whole thing was so confusing that even when I put this documentary together in 2015, I still wasn't sure what was going on. But the thing that really convinced me that 444 plus any 4 digits dialed into the ConTelNet in 1980 always rings that random family's home was this. Let's just go on. During the daytime hours, it was often difficult to get through to the destination PBX. Here's a case where I had no trouble getting through to the destination, but then when I used the CCSA dial tone to dial a long-distance call, I encountered another kind of busy condition that they had in the daytime. Here I'm dialing 454-1811. This ends up giving me a Chicago CCSA dial tone, but then when I dialed the call that I anticipated would give me this,
312-18C.
it failed in a completely different way.
Circuits are busy. Please dial your extension number for a delayed call. circuits are busy. Please dial your extension. Number for a delayed call. Your delayed call number is 010.
Imagine telephone lines being so rare and expensive that they actually thought it was worthwhile to use a take-a-number system during peak times. Hey, all the long-distance lines are busy. We'll call you back. I wish I'd had a way to hear what it says to whoever answers when it calls back. But in any case, notice that every time I call back and get this, the announcer machine sounds different. That's because each one is individual.
Circuits are busy. Please your extension number for a delayed call. Your delayed call number is 011. Circuits are busy. Please dial your extension number for a delayed call. Your delayed call number is 004. Your delayed call number is 019.
Notice the huge difference in volume levels. It's the connections in the ConTelNet plus the fact that the Cognitronics units are unique, each one.
Your delayed call number is 006.
Yikes, that digit 6, I've heard it before. Certain snippets of audio that are put into your memory at a particular formative year just never leave you.
6.
Here's Ben dialing 958 from his Bell Harbor home in the early 70s.
6344116.
The digit 6 is the same,
666.
but none of the other ConTelNet digits have anything in common with any of the New York 958 machines. Here are the ConTelNet digits all in a row.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0.
And you know, I recognize the 7.
7, 7, 7, 7.
It's almost like an old friend popping up unexpectedly. That was from the Northwestern Bell rate quote system that got installed in 1972, and that was the first time that I realized just what a cool sounding voice the Cognitronics lady has.
Check 8, check 9, 203 plus 039 plus.
There's another funny thing about her voice. She makes me think, and I'm not the only one who does this, makes me think about Majel Barrett doing the Star Trek computer voice, even though it really doesn't sound like that. But you think it. It's just weird. Anyway, enough of being charmed by machines saying digits, and let's get back to more down-to-earth things like, oh, I don't know, we could order a pizza via Chicago, even though we're in Atlanta. We can call 480-1811 to get a CCSA dial tone from the Chicago switch, then dial the 10-digit Atlanta number. That'll come back to Atlanta and go out on a local line.
Jacko's on Buford, good evening.
Hi, I'd like to order a pizza.
One moment, please.
MF's in the background when this network uses touchtone. That means this trunk's rented from the Bell system. ConTelNet's phone company did not create this carrier system.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, let me have a medium Canadian bacon.
So that's a medium Canadian bacon, correct?
Yeah.
What's the name, please?
More?
I have that for you in 20 minutes.
Thank you.
Once again, this network is very inconsistent. We should not be listening to this trunk noise now. It should have cut us off. And it's kind of cool that we have all this long-distance noise without incurring any long-distance charges, because this call went out on tie lines and a local line in Atlanta, and that's it.
There were no long distance or watch charges made to anyone for that call, even though it went through Chicago and back.
Now the weather in Chicago, I'm going to dial 454 plus 1, that's a filler digit, plus 9, that's for the outside line, then the first 2 digits of the local Chicago weather number, which is still 936 at this point, so I'm dialing 454-1993. When the call goes through, I'll then dial the last 5 digits of the number.
Good afternoon. Here is the National Weather Service forecast for the Chicago area. The 1 p.m. temperatures, Lakefront 76 degrees, Midway 85, O'Hare 84, humidity 61%, winds northeast 9 miles per hour, barometer 29.90 inches and steady. The temperature humidity index is 78. The temperature of the water at North Avenue Beach is 65 degrees. This afternoon, mostly sunny and warm, highs in the mid-80s, but lower near the lake. Tonight, fair, lows in the mid or upper 60s. Wednesday, partly sunny and very warm. Chance of thunderstorms, highs in the upper 80s. Northwesterly winds around 10 miles per hour, becoming north to northeast 8 to 15 miles per hour this afternoon, and light and variable tonight. The probability of precipitation is 30% Wednesday. The extended outlook through Saturday, chance of showers Thursday, lows mid-60s and highs mid-80s. Fair Friday and Saturday with lows upper 50s and highs upper 70s. Repeating the 1 p.m. temperatures, Lakefront 76, Midway 85, O'Hare 84. Thank you for calling.
I'm recording at night now. Let me dial 212-958 a few more times and see if we get the same number identified or a different one. First through the 727 ESS Centrex in Baltimore.
Nine, 2, 5, 3, 3, 1, 0.
212 plus 958 goes to the Connecticut switch, which dials it on a New York City ESS line. Which number it says just depends on which line it chooses. For the next route, just for variety, I'll go through the Columbia, South Carolina 794 PBX. 794-1511 will give us an Atlanta CCSA dial tone via the PBX. and then I'll dial 212 plus 958. That number again. Just random. And going through Columbia, you always get this hum. That's not random. I'm going to do it one more time, this time via the Chicago area 480 PBX, which has terrible T-carrier in and out of the ConTelNet.
Okay, that's that demonstration. I should note that on other occasions I've heard such identifications as 3326, 3330, and 3342. I happen to have a code, 452, which when dialed into the Atlanta switch goes out on an Atlanta Watts line. And whatever is being dialed on that Watts line, it's not valid because we end up with a recording from the 4E.
Please check the number and dial again or ask your operator to help you. This is a recording. 4041C. Please check the number and dial again or ask your operator to help you. This is a recording. 4041C.
Alright, now let me try dialing it into the Chicago switch dial zone by dialing 454-1811. Enough of that nonsense. There I was influencing the line to resonate at different frequencies by sending them from my touchtone pad. Okay, now for the Connecticut switch, I'll dial 727-8452, and then when I get cut through, I'll dial 1111.
We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator to help you. This is a recording. 203-156. We're sorry, your call cannot be...
Here's the New York Dial-A-Joke number during its 936 days. It actually started as 999-3838 in 1973 or so, but it's on 936 at this point, and here it is dialed on the 9 line of the 551 PBX in New York.
Hi, this is Diane Nichols for Dial-A-Joke. Boy, I'm glad you called. I want to keep my line tied up all day long. I'm afraid one of my other friends have given out my phone number again to another blind date. I'm sorry, but some of the guys that call up here are just not normal. I had this guy get my number, call me up and say, Diane, I like a woman who can give me a real challenge. So I mailed him my bank statement. This guy finally took me out on the world's dullest date. And on the way home, he parks the car and says, Hey, baby, where are you going to be the rest of my life? I said, unlisted. And you know Maggie. She fixed me up with a guy I'm sure is a gangster. Okay, we're talking mob here. I just asked him to take my mother for a ride. He tried to put her in the trunk. She said, Diane, he runs his own business. I said, so sue me, Maggie. I just don't have a lot in common with a guy who sells his blood for a living. Well, give me a call tomorrow.
Jeez. I'm no expert on humor, but was that even worse than Henny Youngman? At least he would have done some old jokes. Anyway, this is a Crossbar 5 line, so... It takes 20 seconds before that happens.
Let me demonstrate what happens if you dial 212 plus one of the few codes that does not end up getting dialed on a 925 line. And one of those codes is 900. Here's 212 plus 900 dialed into a Chicago CCSA dial tone, which I'll get by dialing 454-1811.
We're sorry, but we have a problem in completing your call as dialed. Dial again or ask your operator to help you. This is a recording. 20314. We're sorry, but we have a problem in completing your call as dialed. Please check the number and dial again or ask your operator to help you. This is a recording. 20314. We're sorry.
That carrier noise was so great I decided to leave that in, even though we've heard that tandem recording before.
Okay, now here's 212 plus 800 plus 1111.
I'm sorry, we're unable to complete your call as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator for assistance. This is a recording. I'm sorry, we're unable to complete your call as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator for assistance. This is a recording. I'm sorry, we're unable...
Okay, that of course was the recording from the 925 office, which came on as soon as the Connecticut switch picked up the line and dialed 800-111. Now let me dial 212-800-5201.
That would be a vacant office code in the toll-free 800 area. With a 212 in front of it, it'll get dialed on a New York phone line.
And when I get cut through to the office, I'll dial 3 more digits, and we will have ended up dialing 800-520-1111 into the 925 office, and that will go through and we'll get a vacant code recording from whatever long-distance tandem serves that office.
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Number and dial again or call your operator to help you. This is a recording. 212-51C. We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again or call your operator to help you. This is a recording. 212-51C.
That is the dreaded Rego Park 4E 21251C. This was the 4E switch that was going to demote our beloved Forest Hills tandem in 1977, and we were rushing against the clock, recording all that long-distance stuff before this thing came in.
Let me now dial 800-522 into a New York line, same way. 800-522 is an intrastate Watts code, which is not reachable from the New York City message unit area. And many New York tandems have a special recording to that effect. And we will see what happens from 925.
Recording. 212-42. We're sorry, but the 800 number you have dialed is not in service at this time. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator for assistance. This is a recording. 212-42. We're sorry, but the 800 number you have dialed is not in service at this time. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator for assistance. This is a recording. 212-42. We're sorry, but the 800 number you have dialed...
Oh no. I'm going to have to ask Ben to dial that. He'll get a kick out of that. The funny thing is that Chelsea Tandem 21242 is an entirely local tandem and never handles long-distance calls. Apparently there is some code that Rego Park sends into Chelsea Tandem to get that recording.
Okay, I'm now recording about 8 months later, and between then and now, New York City now has dial 1 first. So I can no longer dial 212 plus an area code. Now you would think that I could just dial 212 plus 1 plus the first 2 digits of the area code, but the CCSA doesn't like those codes beginning with 1.
The number dialed is invalid.
Let me now demonstrate what happens if you dial 212 plus 800 something into the Connecticut CCSA. This time I'll get the Connecticut CCSA by going through Baltimore. I'll dial 563-8212. Then when I get a cut through, I'll dial 800-5221. And then when I get another cut through, I'll dial 111, and we'll get the dial 1 first recording. Oh, by the way, 563 is identical to 727 and 742.
I'm sorry, we're unable to complete your call as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator for assistance. This is a recording.
That wasn't the recording I was looking for. When you're working with the ConTelNet, network failures are just a part of the game. In this case, one of the last links had no forward transmission, so my touchtones were not heard. Okay, what happened there was that when I finally got connected to the New York line, it couldn't hear my dialing, so the last 3 digits never got dialed, and we got the partial dial recording. Let me try going another way. I'm going to call the access and dial 281-8111. That will go to Connecticut, which will pick up a trunk to the Dimension in Richmond, Virginia, and dial 8111. The Dimension will then give us the CCSA dial tone from Connecticut again, and on that I'll dial 212-800-5221. Connecticut will then pick up a New York line and dial 800-5221 and cut me through. And after that I'll dial 111.
Please dial 1 first when placing calls outside the 212 area. It is necessary to dial 1 first. Please place your call again. Dial 1 first. This is a recording. Please dial 1 first when placing calls outside the 212 area. It is necessary to dial 1 first. Please place your call again. Dial 1 first. This is a recording. please dial 1 first.
Now I'll do a little stacking with 454 and 281. They both seem to have loud trunks, and I should be able to go back and forth several times.
Hello. No, we're not getting a very nice echo. Let me try it again.
You know, when you're stacking, you're building a ridiculously long call, and what usually limits the length of the stack is you're losing transmission with every link so that it can't hear your tones down at the end. On that last one, it was getting louder and louder there for a while, and so I thought I was in good shape there, thanks to it being so loud, but ConTelNet, with its poor maintenance, not only caused that loudness, but it also caused the failure where I got a reorder for no reason. Here's another stack. I start by calling 281-8111. That gives me a Connecticut dial tone via the Richmond, Virginia dimension. On that, I dial 454-1811. That gives me a Chicago dial tone via whatever PBX or Centrex the 454 code goes to. On that, I go to Richmond again, 281. And then finally, I'll go to 794, the Columbia dimension that gives us an Atlanta dial tone. On that, I'll dial the Atlanta time number. And so we'll hear the Atlanta time through all those links, and at the end, 10 seconds after it hangs up, the network connection that we've stacked up ought to fall down.
Bank of the South interest checking is free with $1,000 minimum balance in checking and savings combined. Time, 11:35.
That Atlanta line is ESS, and so 10 seconds after it hangs up, okay, so we've lost Columbia. We know that because the hum went away. But thanks a lot, ConTelNet. The rest of the connection stayed up.
Looks like the rest of the connection isn't going to fall down.
Yeah, and I feel ripped off because if you're going to set up a stack, you really want to hear it fall down. So, by trying over and over and running the tape back when necessary, I finally got a good stack. This one starts with the 454 office giving me the Chicago dial tone. On that I call 281 to get a Connecticut dial tone, then back to 454 for Chicago, and finally to 794 Columbia to get an Atlanta dial tone, on which I will dial my own number. Now I've moved and I only have one phone line at the moment, so we'll have to do this via call waiting, but it turns out pretty good.
Hello there. Right now I'm on the incoming side of the call. I wish I had two lines. Call waiting is an awfully kludgy way to demonstrate stacking. But I only have one right now. Let's go back to this side. Boy, it has a very different sound over here. Let's go back to the incoming side. Nice echo. Okay, now let me go over to the originating side and hang up, and we should be back on this side just in time to hear most of the disconnect. Okay, this is the originating side. Gonna hang up. Up, didn't hang up long enough. Let's try it again. Oh no! Okay, this is the incoming side. This is the outgoing side. Gonna hang up again. Still not long enough. That's pretty good for tie lines and CCSAs.
That was pretty good. Let's hear it again. All right, well, that's it for this segment. The next ConTelNet program will be more of the same kind of stuff, just